All right, thank you, Mac. And welcome everyone to the Bradenton Kiwanis Club. We're happy to see you here this morning, this afternoon. And again, looking forward to when we can get together for lunch. To get things kicked off, I'd like to ask Ed Cleveland, who is always ready with an invocation, to give us an invocation.
We'll pray together. Father, we come to you today with grateful hearts, grateful for your love and protection for us, for the things that you show us that help us to work together to be a better club, a better community, and a better Bradenton. We pray, Father, that you'll bless us this hour, that the time we spend together will be fruitful, it will be learned, and that we'll be blessed as we leave this time together. And now, Father, for those that aren't with us today, may you be with them. Let them know that we're thinking of them and praying for them. For those that are eating, that have eaten, or are about to eat, we please, Lord, bless the food to their good and us to your service. And we'll ask all these things in your precious and holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ed. I'd like to welcome our guest. And I'd like to ask Mac to give us our announcements. If y'all get a chance to read the newsletter again, it's just chock full of great stuff.
All right, well, first of all, I do want to introduce our guests and let them say a little something if they'd like. We have as our special guest today, Ann Heller from Take Stock. Ann, would you like to say any words?
Say thank you for letting us come today and speak and tell you of our wonderful mission, and also thank every one of you for your great support.
Thank you. And I understand we have one of the newest members of Take Stock with us today, Javar Beatty.
All right, let me tell you a little bit about Javar real quick till we figure that out. So we're super excited. He's our newest employee of Take Stock in Children. He is actually, he was a student of ours. He came through our Take Stock in Manatee, and he graduated from college, and now he's come full circle and he's back to work for us. And we are so super excited to have Javar on our team now.
Thank you. And Javar, you may have to go over and do a little audio test because we're still not hearing you there. So there's something on your end that you need to check. Okay, we'll come back to you though. All right, we also have Krista Kirby with the 4-H and University of Florida and ISIS.
Good morning or good afternoon. Thank you for having me today. I am the interim 4-H agent for the University of Florida and IFAS. Brenda Rogers is one of my supervisors. I have several, and just want to thank y'all for inviting me today, and thank you for your continued support of our programming.
All right, well, thank you. Welcome here. I'm glad you were able to make it. And I see we also have Stacy Vu from CKI. Did she make it yet? Do you see her? I don't see her yet.
See her.
Okay, we'll move on. Karen Gray with Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here today to share about our organization as well.
All right. Well, thank you for coming and joining us. And we want to give everybody a warm Kiwanis welcome. And moving on with announcements, Neil, would you like to tell us a little bit about what's going on with our service?
Absolutely. It is that time. We are in the last little crunches of our next big event. So on Thursday, 2 days from now, we need 2 more people, I believe, or 4 more people, I believe we need to help do some bag packing at the food bank, 2 from 8:30 to 11 and 2 from 11:30 to 1:30. We could use all those help. So please consider that. Friday, we are all full. We have all our volunteers. And then on Saturday, right now we're in the neighborhood of 2 to 4 short, but I've reached out to the Key Club, to Manatee High Key Club, to see if they would offer any volunteers. But if anybody on here would like to go ahead and volunteer, please get with me or sign up through Portal Buzz. So Saturday is the big event. We'll be putting out a press release later, I believe. Christy, is that right?
I think so. I have it here.
Okay, so we'll be putting out a joint press release with Meals on Wheels, hopefully later today, in anticipation of the event on Saturday. Volunteer hours then are from 9:15 to 12:15. We'll be doing this at the old Renaissance on 9th, the Bayside Dream Center currently. Following that event, we'll jump right into some more things, and we'll go Kids Against Hunger food packaging event, Wednesday, September 16, from 6 to 8 p.m. We have one slot available for that. And then on September 19th, Saturday, I believe we have some openings available there. We'll do 2 sessions, 10 to noon and 1 to 3. I think there's slots available on both slots both sessions right now. And then finally on October, is it 3, I believe, we have 2 sessions there, 10 to 12 and 1 to 3, and we need some volunteers for that. There's also the Intercoastal Cleanup, no sign up necessary. The newsletter had information on that, so please see that if you'd like to consider volunteering there. Lots of opportunity for everybody, and we hope to see you at any of our events to share your volunteering abilities. That's all. Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Grantham. Are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Would you like to, I know we put something out about how we're going to be doing dues collection, but do you want to say a couple words about that so there'll be apprised of what's going to be happening soon?
Everybody should have received an email last week. So if you've got any questions, forward those to me. I'm in the car right now. So
I'm sorry.
Just communicate with me by email. Please. Thank you.
All right. Well, pretty much what's going to be happening though pretty soon is that won't be getting those letters in the mail asking for your dues and stuff. We're going to try to do it pretty much all electronically. You will still have the ability to mail it in, but you also have some other choices as well so that you don't have to mess with that all the time. And other than that, unless Miss Vu has shown up or Mr. Beatty has figured out his audio stuff, I think that was it.
Thank you, Mac. Now we'll move into one of my favorite parts of the program, and that is a page of Kiwanis history with Gilbert, Judge Smith.
All right, we're still in 1934, and the Bradenton Kiwanis Club continued to be a leader in Manatee County during this challenging time of the Great Depression. Members of the club continued to hold prominent positions in the community, many who were ranchers and farmers. Agriculture continued to be strong, and many farmers and ranchers in Manatee County were generous in the community, donating food for the disadvantaged. Members of the club also continued to look for ways to support the disadvantaged, including programs for children. On December 11th, 1934, at the regular luncheon meeting, John Henry Logan was elected as the 1935 president, along with Dan Blaylock as vice president. John was the first of many agricultural extension agents to become president of the Bradenton Kiwanis Club. With John's leadership, the club became more involved in the Manatee County Fair. That leadership would continue with the club not only supporting the fair, but agriculture in Manatee County. Now, 1934 had been a banner year for recruiting new members. By the end of 1934, the club had inducted 13 new members, including Henry W. Blackburn and Sam Cornwell. For several years, community leaders were now talking about how a trailer camp was needed for the tourists who were visiting Manatee County. Not only was a camp needed to keep these tourists from camping on vacant lots, but also to attract tourists to a modern trailer camp in Manatee County instead of leaving for a camp in another part of the state. There was an abundance of vacant land within the city of Bradenton which could be used for such a camp. The Bradenton Chamber of Commerce was leading much of the discussion in attempting to get the city of Bradenton to spearhead such a project. The city was interested, but did not believe they could handle it as a city project due to the state of the economy. On December 10th, 1935, at the regular luncheon meeting, Dan Blaylock Sr. was elected as the 1936 president, along with Dr. Tolliver McDuffie as vice president. Then on December 17th, at the ladies' night event and an installation dinner at the Dixie Grand Hotel, Dan was sworn in with the other elected officers and directors. Born on April 20th, 1900 in Fayetteville, Georgia, he attended after military school and then college. He then moved to Bradenton in 1924 and began selling real estate in his own firm, Blaylock Realty. Eventually, he met club members and leading citizens, F. Wyman and Everett P. Green. They eventually merged his firm with their company, establishing Wyman, Green, and Blaylock, and that's in 1935. The firm, which continues today, became involved in developing residential subdivisions and commercial properties, including the shopping centers throughout Manatee County. Dan married Gertrude Green, and they had two sons, Dan Jr. and Bob. Eventually, his son Dan joined the firm and became the managing shareholder. He was extremely involved in Bradenton Kiwanis. Bob became a prominent attorney and is in business with our own Cliff Walters. Dan's grandson, Bill Blaylock, also joined the family business and became a dedicated member of this club. Now, besides being a devoted family man and a successful businessman, Dan Blaylock Jr. was extensively involved in volunteering his time in the community. For the Bradenton Kiwanis Club, Dan was the right man at the right time. During his term as president, he would lead the club into the most ambitious and bold project it would ever take on. And it had many risks since the country was still in the Great Depression. With Dan's leadership, he would guide the Bradenton Kiwanis Club on a path to make it the most financially independent and influential Kiwanis club in the world. By the end of 1935, the club had inducted only 2 members. Times were still tough and few men had time to join a service club. You're going to have to wait until next week to find out the rest of the story with Dan Blaylock Sr.
Well, thank you. That's really interesting. A lot of rich history with this club. I would now like to turn the meeting over to Christy.
That's a little dangerous. Welcome, everyone. So, we kind of thought through having a program where we could bring a lot of our mentorship programs that we interact with and work with. I know some of you, I'm looking and I know which things you're very involved in, whether it's you have a big brother, you're a big brother or a big sister to someone, or that you work through Take Stock mentoring a youth, or even Boys and Girls Club is on here. Some of you are involved in 4-H or our own SLPs that we have in many schools in the community. So I tried to get a good group of people together, and then Alex had reached out to me at one point about he's doing CKI advising for youth, or not youth, they're in college, but to keep us connected at each level as people are growing, as the students are growing. So what we thought we would do is bring as many of the people involved in this together. They're all kind of going through the same things in some ways of what's happening in our schools and our colleges, and the ways that we're able to interact with the youth or interact with college students and volunteer. So we thought this would be a great forum to kind of go through some questions and talk about what we're seeing and what's different and what's not. Because there are things that are just the same, it's just a different format. So the first thing I was going to do is, give each of these groups about 2 minutes to explain what their mission is and where they work with kids, at what level, at what point, and just give everybody some background of the different groups and what they do. I sometimes assume that everybody knows, and we may not. So this would be a great opportunity to share that. And I think the first one I have on my list is Krista. She's the interim 4-H agent at IFAS.
Good afternoon. Like I said before, I am with the University of Florida IFAS 4-H program. I am currently serving as the interim 4-H agent. We're in the midst of trying to hire someone, but being caught with the virus and everything going on there. So I'm filling in for the time being. The 4-H Youth Development Program is the youth development program of the University of Florida. And for those of you who are not familiar with it, we do provide educational experiences through a learn by doing approach that help the young people acquire the knowledge and skills to develop those all important life skills so they can be better adults and citizens in our community and be able to give back as they grow older. Our offices are located over here at the Fairgrounds in Palmetto, and our programs are open to youth between the ages of 5 and 18. Between the ages of 5 and 7 are considered Clover Buds, and then 8 to 18 are our core 4-H members. We do have a little different structure this year with some of our memberships. Traditionally, it's all members within our community. However, with the transition, we now have some statewide memberships that are becoming available to some of our youth. So it's the all evolving program, and we're ready to adapt and meet the needs of our youth however we can.
Thank you so much, Krista. And then we also have on the line, I think I saw her join, Max said, Stacy Vu, the CKI Florida Kiwanis Advisor. If you'd want to share with us a little bit about the CKI Advisor Group.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm Stacy Vu. I'm the chair of the CKI Mentorship Program, and it's a really wonderful program. It's actually the second year of it being started. And I wanted to share a quick statistic. 1 in 3 young people will reach the age of 19 without having an adult mentor of any kind. So Kiwanis can really play an important role in filling this mentorship gap. And this actually is a virtual opportunity as well. So it's a great opportunity for Kiwanians to share their knowledge and experience with CKI. And also bridge the gap between Kiwanis and CKI.
Can you help me?
I have a little guy here next to me, so
Okay.
he's participating as well. So for those of you who may not know, CKI is Circle K International. So it's the college branch of the K family. And it's actually, the group does the most service hours per member, actually, in all of the Kiwanis groups. So they're a really amazing a group of young leaders. And so some of the benefits of being part of the mentorship program are that you get to build these relationships with these CKI collegiate members. And also, you know, these CKI members may be Kiwanians someday. For me, myself, I was in Key Club and I was also in CKI, and it was a natural progression for me to go from CKI to Kiwanis because I had those relationships that I built over those years, kind of informal mentorships. So how the program works is that you sign up online. There's a Google form, and it's actually a pretty easy form to fill out. We will match you with a college student. Probably we'll do the first round of matches at the end of the month, and then we'll continue doing some more matches probably throughout the rest of the year. We ask that you mentor your mentee for a period of about 9 months, so until May 2021. And we ask that you have a once a month contact. So that could be email, phone, texting, video call, whatever you feel comfortable with. Although this year we really would encourage you to do a video call or even just a regular phone call, just because you're going to have that interactive dialogue with the other person, and you're really just going to get to build a better relationship with them. And what I think is one of the best parts of this program is that we have resources as well for mentors. When they start, we're going to do a Zoom call probably at the beginning of October with everybody on how to mentor, so you don't feel alone. You know, some people have never mentored before, or maybe they just need a little refresher. We're going to help you with that, as well as we have monthly discussion topics as well that we'll provide you with every month, so that it will help you. It will help gauge your, or excuse me, it will help you. It will help you sort of guide your discussion between the mentor and mentee every month. So, yes. You want to say something? He wants to have a snack. So anyway, I think I've reached my 3 minutes, but it's a really wonderful program that you can partner with a CKI member and potentially a future Kiwanian one day. So I'd really like to have any of your Kiwanis members as mentors in the program, and thank you so much for having me.
So next we have Ann Colanesa with Take Stock in Children. Ann?
Thanks, Christy. Good afternoon, Bradenton Kiwanis. We are grateful to be here today as members as well as guest speakers. As Christy said, I'm Ann Colonna, and I'm honored to be a part of Take Stock Manatee as the community liaison as well as a mentor. Hint, hint, wink, wink. We are definitely recruiting for mentors right now. Our theme for the new school year is education is continuing, and so is our mission. I'm proud to introduce you to Ann Heller, who is our executive director, and Javar Beatty, who is a graduate of Take Stock Manatee, a mentor, and now a valued member of our staff as a college success coach. So Javar has come full circle with Take Stock, and we're very proud. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Ann for a few words about our program.
So thank you again. We are going into our 25th year here, Take Stock in Children, statewide and local. And we are bringing in 60 new students. This is the largest group of students we've ever brought in the history of our organization. So we're super excited. But what, as Ann mentioned, that does mean that we need mentors going into, we will probably, the new mentors will be needed in January, but we'll go ahead and start the process of recruiting and the training and having them ready to go. You know, without the support of Kiwanis, which you all have been so incredibly grateful through the years, we have been able to grow our program and to educate more of the students here in Manatee County. So like I say, I feel very honored to work for this organization, this mission, and I'm super excited about having Javar, who's actually been through the program, to come back in. And, you know, to me, that's a huge testament of, you know, in our community, we give back and what comes back to us. So Javar, you want to say hello this time since we didn't get to hear you?
Can everyone hear me this time? Hopefully. Awesome. So yeah, again, I'm Javar Beatty. I'm a Manatee County product through and through. Most of my family's from there. I came up through the educational system. I graduated from Braden River High School in 2011. And as Ann stated, I was a former Take Stock scholar. For me, I'm just really excited to give back to a program that really helped me become the person who I am today. I feel like without the mentoring, I'm still connected with the mentor that I had when I went through the program. He actually is kind of a neighbor at this point. But it helped me to really grow into a productive citizen in this community and to find more people like me in the area and encourage them to do the same. So I'm really excited to kind of come in and just fill those gaps and bring in more people like myself that are around my age in the community to begin the mentoring process and, you know, move us forward like you all are.
Yes, like I say, we're super excited to have him on our team. And like we, you know, as we all know, through this time, education continues. And so that's, to me, one of the most important things about our program is keeping our students on track and for success to, you know, come up through middle school, come up through high school, and get their college scholarships. I also mentor. I've been mentoring for 5 years now. It's my favorite 30 minutes of the week. And our mentoring has changed. We are doing the virtual mentoring, so you can do it in the comfort of your home and, you know, talk with your student. Or we have a new app that we're rolling out today that you can actually chat on the app with your students. So we have different ways of mentoring, but, you know, we're staying true to our mission that education will continue.
Thank you so much, Anne. I really appreciate all three of you. You know, it is interesting how the platforms are changing of how we're doing this because of what we're going through, and seeing how the delivery, and, you know, in some ways it may help people to be able to be a mentor where in the past they couldn't.
Absolutely.
So, and that's kind of, yeah, right. So it's kind of the reason why I wanted to bring each group in front, and there's different different amounts of time too to investing. And what I think is, I enjoy hearing is when different members in Kiwanis get involved in it, they're finding, just like you said, Anne, that that's your favorite 30 minutes of the week. You start and there's a little trepidation, and then when you really start to get in it, you develop a relationship with this kid, the kid that's trying to get themselves through school, you find that it does become your favorite time of the week. You know, you really are able to help another person grow up and find their way and find their career path, and you do get a lot out of it too.
Exactly.
So the next group we have, Karen Gray is on the call with Big Brothers Big Sisters. Karen, would you share with us about Big Brothers Big Sisters?
Yes, thank you so much, Christy. I'm from Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Suncoast, and we cover 10 counties in the Southwest Florida, with our corporate office being in Venice, and our Manatee office just recently relocated to 26th Street in Manatee. We moved here in July, so we're in a new location. And our mission is to create and support one-to-one mentoring relationships that will unite the power and promise of youth. We have two different programs, and one is our site-based program, in which normally our mentors would go into the schools and mentor a child based on a core subject that they're not doing too well in, and that would require 1 hour a week. And we have mentors for elementary, middle school, and high school. And then our other program would be our community-based program, which requires 4 hours a month to meet with the child one-to-one, with outings and activities based on common interests during the weekends or weekday evenings. And those matches are unique and develop a schedule based on the schedule of the parent and the volunteer. We are currently, of course, we can't go into the schools now, but our site-based matches are doing things virtually, and our community-based matches are as well. We do have a waiver that we put in place the middle of August, because some parents and some bigs wanted to start seeing each other face-to-face. So our legal team put in a waiver so that if the parent and the volunteer agrees, then now some of our community-based volunteers are seeing each other face-to-face. But the majority of our service delivery at this time is by virtual.
Thank you so much, Karen. Yeah, and hopefully moving forward, we're going to get to a point where we can do more face-to-face. So, but I appreciate you sharing that with us, because, you know, it's just, everything is a case-by-case basis. You know, we have some schools that are trying to start kids' sports after school, and then they have to rein it back in. So it's interesting how things are changing, and it's probably going to be a process of us getting to where we can be face-to-face. So then we also have on the line, I know John Vita called in, and I know Ed Nicholas is on here too. I don't think Lori Fox is here, but we have our K Kids and our Builders Clubs and our Key Club from our elementary schools, our middle schools, and our high schools, where there are mentorship opportunities there as well. And they're navigating the school system just as everybody else on the call is, on how to, you know, sync up and link in with our kids and keep our mentorship programs running. John, do you want to speak to, I know Mr. Mills couldn't be here today, but do you want to speak to it, or Ed? Share?
Sure. Christy, thank you. I'd be happy to. For those of you that don't know me, I'm John Vita. I am the Youth Leadership Programs chair of Kiwanis. So that encompasses a lot. It encompasses K-Kids, Builders Club, Key Club, CKI, etc. And we've got multiple clubs and multiple schools doing multiple things. So it's been a challenge this year to kind of get things up and running. We're in the midst of it now. So it's typically, time of recruiting and seeing lots of new faces and all kinds of activity happening. It's different, and it's kind of, been more difficult to get up to speed in terms of, who's, wanting to join, how they're doing it and everything else. But I will tell you that the students running these programs, along with the advisors that are actually in the schools, have made it, a lot more manageable for us to be able to get these programs up and running and do it. So our system has proven to be a good one, that we partner with the schools and have people inside the schools as part of the programs, and teachers that have committed to helping us run those groups of students and everything else. So we've seen a lot over the last 25 years of doing this, and it's been, this year has been, I think, by far the most different that we've had. But the kids, what we always notice in these situations is that the students are resilient. The students, they just understand that this is the time, and and we're going to do whatever it takes to to make the programs work, and to get things done and get the help to the people that need the help. So some of the ideas that they've come up with are absolutely incredible, stuff that I never would have thought of. And I can tell you that the resiliency of our students, and their ideas and their creativity is alive and well. So with that, I'll turn it over. If Ed has anything to say, or anybody else from the community that's on the call, certainly is welcome to chime in.
Ed?
Hey everybody, it's Ed Nicholas. I miss you guys. I just wanted to put in a quick plug for K-Kids. As you know, I've been the K-Kids advisor for a long time. We've got 8 K-Kids clubs here in Manatee County. They're spread fairly much throughout the county. And you've seen them come to our luncheons, and the little ones are so passionate. They want to build habitat houses. They want to go to Haiti and build schools. But we try to keep the projects relatively small, kind of within the school. But they're real passionate. They get very, very energized, and they're just real fun to work with. So if you'd like to work with the little ones, 4th and 5th graders, we can find a school for you. I would suggest that if you have any questions, that you reach out to Lori Fox. She's been at McNeil Elementary School for about 5 years, and it's the highlight of her week, the K-Kids meetings that she has out there. She just loves those kids. They stay in touch with her year after year. They reach out to her in the summer, and it's become a really significant part of her life. And we have roles that you could play in any of the elementary schools that we have K-Kids available in. I also need to ask if we have somebody that would be interested in working with King Middle School. We have a new Builders Club at King Middle School. We had a kind of a need in middle school. We have a great Key Club program at Manatee. We've got many K-Kids out in West Bradenton, but we didn't have the middle school service component. Well, we do now. We've got a wonderful teacher advisor out there, but she could use some help just to check in occasionally and see what they need, and to keep the energy going. Obviously, this year is going to be a challenge. I'm not sure that there's going to be much, if any, in-school activity, in-school advising, but they're doing virtual meetings, and they're doing kind of virtual fundraisers, and they're still trying to be as active as they can. But hopefully when all this is over, you can consider advising one of our many K-Kids, or or some of our builders clubs in addition to the Key Club. You know, my goal would be to have a service club like K-Kids in every elementary school in Manatee County. Imagine the impact that this club would have. Imagine all the good works that would happen in Manatee County if we had kids throughout the county thinking about others instead of themselves, and doing good works throughout their school and their community. So that's a kind of an aspirational goal. It's challenging enough for our club to mentor and advise and provide money to 8 K-Kids. But if you'd like to work with me, I'd love to have your help.
Thank you so much, Ed. So, you know, I tell Ed and John all the time that, you know, and that's why I wanted to bring together all these mentorship programs, that, you know, this is the place, this right here, everything we're hearing right here, this is the place where we can affect the thoughts of children. I mean, this is the place where we can meet them where they're at and help to, you know, frame them into the kind of adults we really feel that they should become, and help change their lives. So to me, the mentorship that Kiwanians are involved in, whether it's our own programs or it's Big Brothers or it's Take Stock or sport, whichever program it is, you know, this is the place where the rubber hits the road. This is where we really can give back. And like Judge said, you know, teach them how to treat others. Because if you really look at everything that's going on right now in our communities, you know, where we have our biggest issues is where people are how people are treating each other. And that's, you know, we're helping to teach them and talking to the kids how to do service, how to look at their education, where their education is going. But really that mentor is there to give them some guidance and directing them on how to treat others, which we as Kiwanians, that's the what we live by, right? The golden rule, how treat others the way you would want to be treated. So now that we've gone through each of the different groups, and you can kind of see each one's a little different and how much time is involved, or what grade level you're interacting with, or whether like it's from a point in their school time to when they graduate, or whether it's during college. There's a lot of different points that you can get involved with the youth in our community and helping to mentor them. I know I hear people say every once in a while, I do really good with high schoolers, or I do really good with, you know, kids in elementary school, or I'm probably more meant to interact with a college kid. I would say take that into consideration, because we, you know, different people interact with different age groups. They just enjoy different age groups differently. I know that of my own children. There's ages they've been that I've really loved, and there's ages they're in that I don't. So make sure you consider that when you're thinking about if you want to mentor. Let's see. I did have some questions for everyone. If you guys are seeing that there's any barriers to being able to mentor, you know, or do you have barriers of being able to find volunteers that are, you know, willing to participate? Are you having barriers to finding volunteers because people are out and about and they're a little apprehensive to do it? Then are you finding different ways because of what we're going through to get people involved? And on the kids side of it too, are you having to go about different ways of interacting with the kids? And is it presenting opportunities to do things differently permanently going forward? Or, you know, is it just causing us to have less kids wanting to interact? So would anyone like to jump into that question and share anything that you're seeing?
Sure, I'll take it. You know, we kind of got thrown into this at the end of last semester. So we were not prepared. So, you know, I would never wish this on anyone, but actually it's caused us to work way more efficient. And, you know, the students, to teach them some technology, to teach us technology that they're not used to seeing or having, but yet staying in contact. And yes, you know, we've had some mentors who are like, I don't want to do the Zoom thing. It's not private. I'm not going to have a personal touch. But right now, that's just kind of where we are as a society, and with not being allowed back in schools, so we just have to kind of talk through that and work through that. My student and we have stayed connected all through the summer. We text, or we're going to have Zoom calls setting up every Thursday at 1:30, my 30 minutes to speak with her. I mean, we are just facing what we have in front of us and working our way through it. We're offering training to all of our mentors on how to use the app, how to use Zoom, how to use Microsoft Office. I mean, we are really showing everyone that this can work on a different than what we've ever had, but it can work, and it is working. We, as part of our deliverables to the state, we have to have a certain number of mentoring sessions done. So we don't have an option of just saying, well, it's the COVID, we're just not going to see it. And, we don't want to leave our students. We want to continue with that relationship. And, we want them to still succeed and still have, a hope. And we just got through offering a series, or we're going to offer a series. And we just had a class last week on taking care of you, because we found a lot of our students last semester, being at home, there was food needs, there were, emotional needs. And so, while we think technology is different, you can still stay connected, and we are staying connected at Take Stock.
Thank you, Ann. Anybody else want to?
I'll jump in. I'll echo a lot of what Ann said, because with the 4-H program, we did start off, one day we were meeting in person, and we had to find a way to still connect with our youth. And so we jumped in virtual right away. Like she said, some of the kids were teaching their parents and even some of the volunteers the technology, and working through the university, getting all of our technology requirements and safety protocols in place. We were able to stay connected with our volunteers and with our youth up through the summer, offer summer programming, so our programming never stopped. And also moving into the fall, we're kicking off the new 4-H year currently. And with that, all of our clubs are back meeting again in a virtual platform. Some of our volunteers are much more comfortable than others in the virtual realm. It does have its advantages and disadvantages. A lot of them like that face-to-face, one-on-one component to the volunteering and the relationship that they develop with the youth. Others, they can see where the virtual realm has benefited and where we may want to keep the virtual in some aspects of our program. So it's a lot of give and take on both the youth and the adults, but also a lot of learning, thinking outside of the box. We get in our routines, and this is how we've always done it, and we can't do things different, and we're all being forced to think in new ways and new methods. And it's doing a lot of good for all of us, both youth and adults. And a lot of those adults that weren't quite as comfortable with those virtual platforms, they're becoming more comfortable with them and learning the different aspects and the different things that they can do in the virtual world that they never thought would be possible, to connect with the youth, but also to educate the youth at the same time.
So Krista, I have a question for you. 4-H is learned by doing.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes that's hard to do.
Yes,
ma'am. Format. I just started thinking about it. Like, I know at the high school where my son is at, they don't have any animals yet. Then they're not even sure when they're going to be able to work with animals. And I know 4-H and plants, and are they able to get out and do some of the doing that the 4-H programs usually get to do?
At the high school, it's the FFA program, and they're doing some things differently because we're two separate programs. Mm-hmm. So we fall under the University of Florida guidelines, and where FFA has a lot of group activities with their school animals, most of our 4-H animals, while we do have some club animals or some club projects, most of our projects are individual projects. Every youngster has some sort of individual project that they're working on, whether it be robotics or plants or livestock of some sort. Everyone has their own individual project, so they're able to still do that learn by doing. And when they have questions, it would be like, doing a FaceTime with someone, we can do it virtually with them if they have a question on something specific. We're just getting started with our project, so that's kind of a plus. We're not full into our projects yet, but if someone has a question, our volunteers can still show them through the virtual realm and walk them through whatever that situation is. If they're having an issue with their animal and it's not, they're trying to get it to lead, we do have some of those virtual platforms that we can have the leader on one end or the volunteer on one end showing them some of the tricks or ways to get that animal to do what they want them to do, and then they can practice that on their own with their own animal as they move forward.
Thank you. That does kind of clear it up for me. I was kind of wondering how you guys were going to go about continuing to do that, and I didn't realize that it was a different project model than FFA, because FFA is what I see because they're in school.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
they're
so
similar but different at the same time. They both have their advantages, and they both have definitely their strengths, where some of the 4-H weaknesses are strengths in the FFA realm and vice versa. So in a lot of ways, the two programs work very well together.
do you see a lot of kids that are involved in both of those?
Yes, ma'am. And actually we encourage that because, like I said, participation in both programs provides for a better rounded youth, and they're going to get a better experience overall.
Thank you, Krista.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think Dawn put a group chat comment out here about collaborations between groups being valuable during challenging times. I appreciate that, Dawn. Oh, for United Way, I'm trying to read and talk, and that's a terrible combination for me. With United Way, Suncoast is building a platform across the school district and helping to deploy volunteers to help with grade level reading. So yeah, that is a great, a way that a group is working across multiple groups to get volunteers to come in and help mentor with grade level reading. Yeah, and in any way that our groups can work together to help, share tips and tricks, and especially for us with our K kids and our Key Club, and we hear things on different levels within Kiwanis district as it passes down, but across the different organizations inside of the schools, how they're interacting. Yeah, Dawn's got a really good point in that collaborating with them and figuring out best ways to do it. In the end, that helps our kids. So yes, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Dawn. Anybody else have anything that they would want to add to things that they're seeing? Or how about enrollment? Are you guys seeing the kids wanting to be involved? The kids expressing the desire to be in it?
I'll jump in. I would say from our students, at least across the board, they definitely still have the interest and intrigue in seeing how this year is going to work out between them and their mentors. Obviously, kids are going to be more lenient towards using technology than the older mentors that we have. But I think we as a program, at least in Take Stock, have been trying to bridge the gap as much as possible and taking the initiative in terms of calling the mentors, letting them know, hey, we're going to be sending out emails that give you videos, tutorials, and what you can look for. So it's really, and then we send that to the students as well. So it's really just kind of connecting both, making sure that they know that we're here for both of them. And then if they have any questions, then of course they know they have a resource, not only with their teachers or with the guidance counselors, but with their mentors, and then above that with us as well. And then again, like Ann kind of pointed out earlier, we're starting to do workshops and things like that. Last week we did a mental health workshop, and we actually had about 40 something kids show up, which was a virtual meeting online on a on a Monday at 5 p.m. So it was like, completely voluntary by them. We didn't force them to do this, and we had a good showing, and they brought all of their concerns that they have within the classroom that they can't normally express to the teachers or, you know, to administration. So it was really beneficial for them and us to kind of get a better perspective of where each other is at this point, you know, with the pandemic and everything else going on. So there's definitely a lot of interest.
Did y'all have a lot of open dialogue? Did you get kids and
So the
mentors
first call
on
was
that
just
call?
kids, because we wanted to make sure we had enough room in the, you know, workshop space in terms of using Zoom and stuff like that. And we wanted to be able to give them the opportunity to kind of engage with the speaker that we had. We had a guest speaker that was a credentialed social worker. So he was able to provide them, you know, really beneficial tips for them specifically, and not necessarily for the mentor relationships. But in the next call that we're going to be having, we do plan to invite more mentors in. And so it'll be a combination between all of us, and we're just becoming more of a family. That's been my goal when I joined the team this past summer, is to bridge some of the gaps that I felt when I was a student in the program, and then some of the gaps that I felt as a mentor in the program, and then kind of bring that all together so we feel like we're a cohesive unit moving forward.
I give you guys a lot of credit for doing that, because, you know, like right now, one of the things that I keep hearing is that, you know, like our food banks are struggling to get volunteers because it's usually people who are over 65, and right now I don't blame them. They're a little apprehensive to go out and volunteer. So, you know, everybody's kind of been pushed to the virtual format, but we forget that they may not know how to operate it. I struggle to operate it, and I'm fairly good at it.
Exactly. I had technical difficulties in this, and I'm like our tech guy, so it happens to everyone.
Yeah, even if it's just helping everybody understand that you got to learn how to kind of play it off and realize that the little things are little things. You know, Stacy's child is on the call. You just kind of have to accept that that stuff is going to happen, and he's adorable, by the way. You know, it's probably the best part of my day. But, you know, just getting through and helping everybody cope with things are going to be different. And maybe we need to embrace some of the different ways to go about doing it, and realizing that all of our kids still need us all. And, you know, getting involved and finding a way. You know, what might be interesting is finding a way to have some community classes, or anybody who wanted to learn how to mentor and operate some of this stuff in a easier way where you're more comfortable with it. And, you know, I'd be happy to show anybody. I mean, I just push all the buttons until I don't hang up on people. I probably hung up on people in different times that, you know, just learning how to operate it. And, and the kids are, you know, like John Vita said, the kids are really resilient. You know, to them, this is just one more new thing to do, and the technology is easier for them than it is for most of us. And I think it, you know, it helps kids to see us not be able to do it, because it teaches them that, you know, it's not about being perfect, it's about trying. So when they see us exert the effort to be there and be present, even if we're screwing up our technology, you know, it teaches them a good lesson too, that, you know, we don't have to be perfect at this. We just have to go and we have to try. So anything else? I think the thing I have learned is that, you know, one, we need to understand what all the different programs are. And I think what I'll do after this call is take each one of them and put them into a list, and who to contact and how to sink in. Because Barbara Duncan made a good point. She's new to town. She doesn't know where to call or how to get involved. So we'll make a list. And then what I would ask each of you as a Kiwanian, you know, send the list out. You know, send it out so people know if they are at home and they want to mentor, and, you know, they're trying to be safe, that there is a way to get involved and to help, you know, a youth at whatever level they want to meet them at. You know, for me, I would say middle school is special in my heart, because I know it's one of the harder ages, and it's an awkward time for kids. So, but you know, I know Lori Fox loves the 4th and 5th graders because they're still sweet. So I'll make a list of everybody who's been on the call and the different ways to get involved. And that way everybody has it. And I would encourage each of our Kiwanians to share that list. You know, share it with your network, get the word out, get people involved in these groups, helping kids. Does anybody else have anything they want to add? All right, well, I said I was going to keep it to 1 o'clock, and I made a big list of questions, and John Vita was very quick to say, that's a lot. If you guys have any of the people that are on here, I'll send it out. And if you want to reach out to them and ask them more questions, I know every single person will be willing to talk about different things and share with you and help you to figure out what works best for you. All right. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Mike. If he's here. Is Mike
Sure
here?
am. Here I am. Hey, great program. Thank you for bringing this together. This is very timely, and I think it was very well received. So, and I'm hoping that a lot of Kiwanians decide to be a mentor. Maybe this new technology is a little more comfortable for you than actually, meeting in person. Who knows? But great information. Look forward to getting that email with contact names and contacts. So great program. Thank you. We're looking forward to our program next week. Keep your eyes peeled for Mac's newsletter with details, and contact Neil if you'd like to volunteer. A lot of opportunities, a lot of things going on. COVID's not holding us back. Mac has got the bell ready to go, so we're out of here. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.